Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Tom Sawyer Show here on HBC TV 25, brought to you by Wellington's Pub and Grill. I'm Justin Barrientos. Thanks for joining us. Joined as always by head coach Tom Sawyer, and congratulations. Winona State is heading to the playoffs for the NCAA. It's the first time in the postseason, I think, since 2012. First NCAA tournament game since 2007, and the first home game since 2004. So I guess the first question is basically, what were your reactions? You're sitting with your team on campus, watching the selection show, and then they put Winona State up on the board. What were some of the things going through your head when you saw it?
Yeah, I think the first thing I thought of was our players that have really just, they earned it. They put the time in, the effort over the course of the last couple of years to kind of prepare for this. And we earned a fourth spot. We played a tough schedule. We won big games on the road, and we just flat out on the field earned it. When you start going back and thinking about, back in time, then you start going about the process and about, the work that these guys did. We got a couple seniors here today that, were here back in 2012, and they've been around a long time. So you start thinking about where we were then, what the program went through, and here we are sitting here today talking about a postseason game in Winona. It's amazing. I'm very, very proud.
Now, I know that they released the #1 seeds before they released all the other teams that made it into the playoffs. When you saw Central Washington get the #1 seed in your region, did you start thinking, oh boy, I don't know what's going to happen here?
I don't know where that came from. I had all the rest of them I had lined up. I was in early in the morning on Sunday trying to sort it all out and watching games late Saturday night, and I thought I had it pretty close, and then that one came out. I was like, oh boy, like you said, who knows what's going to happen? But the rest of the bracket was like we thought it would be, and we're excited to host Texas A&M-Commerce.
Yeah, and then the other thing, since you played on Thursday, you got to kind of sit back on Saturday and see all the other scores come in, maybe watch some of the games. Minnesota State and Sioux Falls had a really close game between each other. Were you kind of watching that and kind of thinking, well, what's going to happen here?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing. It was Sioux Falls had all kinds of opportunities to win the game, and they had down the stretch. They just had a bunch of things go wrong. They turned the ball over twice. They had a punt that they snapped and hit their shield. It didn't make it all the way back to the punter, and they recovered that and then scored to go ahead for the win. But it's the way the league is, and I think that we were the top 3 teams, and Duluth was kind of the next one in. And all 3 teams getting in the tournament, that's really a plus for the Northern Sun.
All right, let's talk about your final game of the regular season, the game against Augustana, which, as we said, last Thursday night, under the lights, in the cold. Talk about how your team performed, because it seemed like right out of the gate with the kick return, it was on.
There was so much for our guys to play for. One is putting their numbers up on our board to get into the postseason. That's one, to win 10 games. I mean, there are so many things that added up, and at the end of the day, the guys just wanted to go play. And they did. From the time they walked down to the field, I knew they were ready. Cold didn't matter. Wind didn't matter. Our guys came out, and you could see the difference from our sideline to their sideline. Our guys were just excited to be there and have a chance to play another game with their guys, and knew with a victory that we would play again. And so here we are. Did
playing Augustana put any more emphasis on the game? Because obviously last second was the motto that you used all season long, and it was because of those Augustana games that last second came around.
Yeah, it's an added incentive. Once you get on the field, it doesn't matter. But during the week we talked about a little bit of revenge there, 2 years in a row, and especially last year, because that knocked us out of a playoff berth, I think, last year, or at least a postseason game. So that added to it a little bit. But once the ball goes up and you start playing, they just go do their jobs. But all of that motivated our guys. So there was a number of things that our guys were playing for, and number one, playing for each other.
All right, usually we start with offense, but really defense kind of paced the game for you guys. So let's talk about the defense first. Scored a bunch of different touchdowns in that game. Talk about overall how the defense played.
Well, they continue to play excellent. Creating turnovers is what they do. They work hard at it. The good things happen to those who work the hardest, Justin, and our special teams units, along with that defense, which is a lot of the same kids. Those guys really, have bought into the style in which we need to play with the players that we have. And many different guys made big plays in that game, whether it's intercepting the ball or big hits or sacks. Our defense is flying around and setting the tempo for the game.
Well, let's talk about the interceptions first, because there were 4 of them in the game against Augustana. Talk about seeing that and seeing you disrupt the other team's offense.
Well, plus we had our hands on the ball a couple other times with penalties. But, those guys are incredible. Nick Pridgeon was all over the place. Andrew Spencer doing it again. I mean, guys that you expect to make big plays did. Then you get all the guys that are kind of going unnoticed, like Mike Imperiali being back on the field, or Michael Gomez, just hard-working guys. create the opportunity for those turnovers. But our guys, when they get their hands on the ball, it's pretty exciting because we got some great athletes, and when they get their hands on the ball, every time it's a chance for a touchdown.
You pretty much shut down the Augustana passing game during that game, and I know that with the cold weather, you don't really get a lot of a passing game, but with the interceptions and with all the pass disruptions and everything like that, they just could not get into a rhythm during the game.
Yeah, we took them totally out of their game. They wanted to throw a bunch of short passes and those kind of things, and we put a lot of pressure on their quarterback. We made a lot of hits. He was a young kid in the cold from another Texas kid in here playing, and he struggled. But it was because of our defense and the scheme that our coaches put together. I thought we executed the plan excellently.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the offense then. Owen Burke made another start during the game, and he did everything that he had to do to guide the offense. Talk about his performance during the game.
Well, it's his third start, so every time he's become a mature player all of a sudden. And if he goes again this week, he'll be ready. If Darren's not ready to go, but to come in, play that big of a game, he did a great job. Had a couple drops that didn't help him, but he ran the show. He handled it well, made all the checks that he had to make, put the protections in the right spot. Having JV and Roebuck back in the lineup helps. Having healthy people around him really makes a big difference. So our offense did what we had to do. It wasn't anything blistering, but we did the job and converted off those turnovers.
Does it make it any more difficult for you to kind of plan for this week when you're not really sure who's going to be at a quarterback?
I don't think so. Our planning is the same. Here's the fronts that they have. Here's their guys that are all conference players, and you kind of go through the same process. You just don't know them personally. But we get all their tapes, and we've got it all. Well, scouting reports are done, and we're already ready to go for the week for the most part. So now it's just familiarizing with their tendencies and getting all that done. So our coaches, and especially our young coaches, have been really working hard for the last 24 hours. But more importantly, we're excited about what the style in which they play. We've seen it before, within our own league, so there's nothing really different about it. We just got to go execute.
Let's talk a little bit about the running game, because you mentioned Javian Roebuck being back and really being that explosive runner, and Eric Berth has been there the last couple of years as well. That's a great 1-2 punch that you have. Talk about the job they've done this season.
Yeah, they've done a great job, and actually Landon Jacobson has played a lot too and scored a bunch of touchdowns. But those two guys, the biggest thing is at the end of the game, we have fresh legs. So when those guys start to play in that first half and they're sharing some time, when we need big hits in the second half, those two big backs are ready to go, and that's where you start to see us separate from teams offensively, is when that running game can get it going, takes the pressure off our quarterbacks and receivers, but it's a luxury to have two guys like we have in those two kids.
All right, I was taking a look at the footage that we got from the celebration during the announcement of the NCAA thing, and one thing that came out at me that I didn't really think about all that much, and maybe other fans don't think about, is how important scout team is going to be in the practices that go on this week, getting ready for Texas A&M-Commerce. You want to talk about that just a little bit?
Well, yeah, Mikey put it best. They're talking about those guys are really important every week, but this week, it's a new team. They're high-powered offense and that kind of stuff. So our route running, our quarterbacks, all those kind of guys have to be on point to give the best look that we can in 5 days. And by the time we get to Saturday, our guys will be ready. But giving the right look is critical when you're playing new people, because we play Bemidji all the time and we play Sioux Falls every year. It doesn't matter what they do during the week, we know what they're going to do on Saturday for the most part. So this week is extremely important for those young kids to pay attention, do things right, and give us great looks.
And then one of the other things that I think you were talking about was how important it is to have a home game this week, because you have your players, and the players have their families maybe that are going to be coming to be able to see them play, and so you're going to have all that support behind you as you go in your first playoff game since 2007.
Yeah, it's the same routine as we had last week to play a home game, and it's really important, and the guys that we're playing coming out of Texas, they'll fly in Thursday night, then they'll practice Friday, and it's going to be cold and all that kind of stuff. We live it every day. We'll be in class. They're traveling on a plane and they're on a bus and then a plane and then a bus, and it's tiring. And so what we want to do is we want to get the same kind of rest, get our bodies and our minds right to play another home game, just like we play all year long. And hopefully, and we expect that the outcome will be exactly the same as it has been all year. All
right, we're going to take a break, and now we'll get the player perspective. Zach Olstead will join us first when we return with more of the Tom Sawyer Show here on TV 25.
With so many new items on the menu at Wellington's Pub and Grill, you're in for some tough decisions. 6 different salads, homemade soups, huge wraps, juicy steaks, the Wells' own smokehouse ribs, and as always, the best burgers in town. See, we told you it wasn't going to be easy, Log on to wellingtonspubandgrill.com for daily lunch and evening specials. With so many choices for lunch and dinner, you can never come to this well too often.
NASCAR racing is about a whole lot more than just cars going around a track. It's about people who drive, people who engineer, people who plan, people who know how to put it all together. Meet the people who make the cars go round every week on Raceline. Watch Raceline here every week.
Ever wish you could just swing by the local office to pay your bill quickly rather than calling a toll-free number and speaking to a machine? When you join the HBC family, you get that and so much more with local office locations and customer care. Whether you have general questions or would like to upgrade your services, HBC is here in your community, providing an unrivaled, personalized experience. Switching is easy and installation is free. And we're so sure you'll love HBC, we offer a 30-day guarantee. Visit hbci.com to learn more or call 888-474-9995 to experience the HBC difference.
It's Flea Market Madness.
Flea Market Flip has great shows all summer on GAC.
Wow, that's pretty neat.
2 teams, here's your $500, here's your time clock. Let's go shop, go!
I have a vision.
Go find great things that you can reinvent. We have to think outside the box.
I think you have a great idea.
Please work. And then sell, people! Hopefully for a profit.
We got a deal.
You never know what you're gonna find.
Do you need a hand?
Flea Market Flip, Sunday night at 8, only on GAC.
Welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show here on HBC TV 25, brought to you by Wellington's Pub and Grill. And Coach Sawyer, you brought your super seniors with you today.
Yeah, Zach Olstead, thanks for being here, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
And I know you've been here before, but we thought it was appropriate to talk about the journey that you guys have been on as seniors. So let's start there. Take us back first and talk about how we got to where we are today.
Well, it's been a long journey, like you said. 6 years. 2012 came in as a linebacker, middle linebacker, and then after first year, got moved to fullback, and then it's been the story ever since playing fullback. But been on a lot of good teams, a lot of talented played with, and finally we got the job done this year. Just so happened to be my last year, so we're finally going to the playoffs. The first year we went to the Mineral Water Bowl when I was here, and being a scout team guy, I've experienced it all, and finally making the playoffs when it matters, it means a lot.
Talking about that, we talk about the journey all the time, but one of the biggest things I think is getting over the hump. Last year we were 8-3 and lost a couple close ones, but what do you think it took for you as one of our players to really get over that?
Just get back to work. Right after the season, get healthy, getting your body healthy, and then start recruiting guys on your team to stay for the summer, because that's a huge part of our program is, the off-season lifting. You only get 11 guaranteed games during the season, and the rest of the time you're working out for a purpose that is to make the playoffs and have a chance for that national championship. So, recruiting guys, getting them here in the summer is very important.
Last one I have in this part is just, you're in education as well, but, you're looking at players today. You guys talk about this all the time, is that it's hard to be committed if you're not going to be the guy.
Right.
How hard is it? You talk about recruiting guys for the summer, but how hard is it to be, a full-time football guy when you're a freshman and sophomore and you're not going to play yet?
It's extremely hard, but you see what we're doing as seniors right now and the upperclassmen is we're making the playoffs. So those young guys can, kind of look up to us and say, I want that. So what am I going to do as a young guy to deserve that when it might not come for a couple years? You hope it comes every year to make the playoffs, but if you can continue to work, it'll eventually come. So if they just, look up to us, they'll keep working hard and know that hard work pays off.
I want to go off something that you said, talking about, you only have 11 guaranteed games during a season, and for you and Mike, I'll ask him the same question. You're getting towards the end of your senior year, and you're seeing the games go down. And you kind of had an idea coming into Sunday that you were going to get an extra game, but what was that like for you to know you have one more game, and now you're going to be playing to play another one more game?
You got to leave it all out on the field. Like, I was talking to Coach Keller, and in the mid-third quarter versus Augustana, he was, he pulled me to keep me healthy for the playoff game, because if we win, we're guaranteed into the playoffs. And it was tough for me to get pulled out of that game because I don't have much time left to be able to play football. And you got to just nose to the grindstone and take advantage of every situation you get on a football field.
All right. What kind of future does football hold for you? I think you were talking about being possibly a coach later on.
Yeah, I can see myself coaching, staying involved with the sport of football. I don't know if college is the route for me, college football coach, but somewhere along the lines, I'll have football in my life.
Last thing I have is obviously with your family part of Winona State as well. How much is it? How important is it to have a home playoff game for the Olstead family?
It means everything. My mom came up to me after the game when me and Mikey were having our celebration, and she was just bawling. Like, she knows it means the world to me. We've put in a lot of work together as a family. They've opened doors for me, so I've been, just blessed with the opportunity to be here at Winona State and play football, and they're going to miss it as much as I am. So.
All right, thank you, Zach, for coming on here
You
again,
bet.
and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show, and when we come back, we'll go to the defensive side of the ball. Mikey Imperiali will join us right after this.
What's a Southern girl? It's waking up before the sun rises. It's loving the simple things in life, like the dirt roads that lead you home. It's working hard to get what you want. It's hanging your own stands, breaking your own ground, and strategizing every little move for that one moment when everything you've worked for is standing right in front of you. Even if I fail a million times, I keep pushing myself till I'm exhausted, filthy, and about to give up. And that's when the adrenaline hits.
This is how it is. Start your game day with Game Day Morning, football's first pregame show every Sunday. Delivering Hall of Fame commentary, matchup analysis, and live reporting from every game all season long.
With so many new items on the menu at Wellington's Pub and Grill, you're in for some tough decisions. 6 different salads, homemade soups, huge wraps, juicy steaks, the Wells' own smokehouse ribs, and as always, the best burgers in town. See, we told you it wasn't going to be easy. Log on to wellingtonspubandgrill.com for daily lunch and evening specials. With so many choices for lunch and dinner, you can never come to this well too often. Technology. It's supposed to make our life easier, but sometimes the simplest of devices can cause some pretty complex problems. Computer viruses, connection issues, even remotes. Don't freak out when you're in need of technical support. Geek out with HBC Wizards. From general service questions to computer care and repair, call us 24/7 for local assistance on your schedule, or visit your local office for convenient drop-off and pickup of your tech gear. Visit hbci.com/wizards to learn more, or call 888-474-9995.
And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show on HBC TV 25, brought to you by Wellington's Pub and Grill. And Coach Sawyer, back to the defense that we were talking about all year long.
Yeah, Mike Imperiali's back again with us. Mike, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
First question, we're kind of feeding off what we talked with about Zach too, but take us back. Mike, you've been through a lot here. Obviously, still going through some injury things, but tell us your story and how you get to this point.
I mean, it's been tough, but it's been a lot of fun at the same time. I've met some of my best friends from playing football at Winona State, and honestly, it's all been worth it too. I mean, I've been through a bunch of surgeries, a couple shoulder surgeries, now, going through thumb injury and knee injury, but,
You start walking around like me pretty soon.
Yeah, so it's all worth it, honestly, and to get to the playoffs, I mean, that's what really made it all worth it, and it's really exciting. I can't wait to see what happens this week.
We go, as we look back and kind of from that 2012 time to now, our defense has gotten better and better and better, and you've been a big piece of that, obviously, as a captain of the defense. But tell us how we got as good as we are right now.
Well, I mean, I think, for one, it's definitely been the coaching. Like, our game plan is perfect every single week. Every time we go on the field, we know exactly what we need to do and how to do it. And not only that, we've just had a bunch of young guys step up every single game. I mean, Pridgeon has stepped up his game this year. I mean, Ferrante, I play on the same side of those guys, so they're taking all the plays, you know. Pridgeon's on the outside, Ferrante's on the inside, and I'm stuck in the middle, and they're making all the plays, you know. And then we got Michael Gomez, who might be, honestly, the best player on our team. So Andrew stepped up, you know, it's been great to watch. And, you know, everybody knows exactly what they need to do, and they take pride in just doing their job, even if they don't make the play.
You know, I want to talk on the personal side of it, because there's somebody that's pretty special in your life and has become really special to me too, and that's your grandma. And she was out there when you read the creed last week, and she got the yell "Go Warriors." What does that mean to you and your grandma and the rest of your family?
Well, yeah, she's the glue for my family, you know. So seeing her happy, and you know, this is what she lives for. She lives for Winona State football. So, I mean, it's exciting. She was so happy to go out and do that, and it just makes me happy to make her day and do things like that. So. Hi, Grandma, if you're watching.
Well, I got to ask the same question I asked Zach. You know, you find out that you're going to play one more game, and now you play a game to play another game to extend your career, extend this season. What is that like? What's going through your head right now?
Well, now it's to the point where it's not like, oh, we're playing Augustana, you know, I hate those guys, or oh, we're Sioux Falls, you know, we really got to beat those guys, you know. It's like you're fighting for another 60 minutes, so it's really, you have to come in with the mentality where you have to, you know, beat up anybody who comes in here. And it's us versus them. See who's going to get another 60 minutes. And if you don't, you know, your career's done. So it's now or never, really.
I want to talk about one of the other mottos that you had. Last second was obviously one we talked about, but also 1-0 this week. And that's been all season long. How hard is it to maybe not look past that, to maybe, you know, looking past next week, but only focusing on just the game that's right at hand to go 1-0?
Well, if anything, that kind of goes with how we play as a defense. It's really this play. You have to focus on this play right now. And we try to take the mentality of, you know, right now we're not even thinking about Saturday. We're thinking about meetings we have today, and then we're going to be thinking about practice after that. So it's really the next thing ahead, and then you really just take your focus into the next thing ahead. And once that all adds up, you know, Saturday becomes easier because you've done everything you possibly can to prepare for Saturday. So once you're done with that, the games are a lot easier.
You know, one last thing I have for you is playing against a team that you don't know. You know, we know them on film now, but we don't know them personally. But playing a team, Texas A&M-Commerce, very good football team. They've been in the postseason the last 3 years. How excited is it for you guys to finally play somebody outside of our league, a chance to bring a Texas team to Winona, cold, possibly snow? What does that mean for us?
It's exciting. I mean, I don't know if we've ever played a team from Texas in our school history, but for me, I know it's really exciting, and especially that we have a home game, you know, bringing them up here. And I think they'll really like the environment. You know, our stadium's real close, the fans are all on top of you, so I think they'll like it. And, you know, I hope they bring their A game because I want us to bring our A game, and I want us to beat them at their best, you know. So, and from what I've seen on film, they're a really good team. They're big, they're long and athletic, so I'm really excited to play against these guys.
Yep, awesome.
All right, Mike, thanks for joining us, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the opponent, Texas A&M-Commerce, that's coming up right after this.
With so many new items on the menu at Wellington's Pub and Grill, you're in for some tough decisions. 6 different salads, homemade soups, huge wraps, juicy steaks, the Wells' own smokehouse ribs, and as always, the best burgers in town. See, we told you it wasn't going to be easy. Log on to wellingtonspubandgrill.com for daily lunch and evening specials. With so many choices for lunch and dinner, you can never come to this well too often. Isn't it the worst when your kids are trying to do homework and the webpage won't load? Or you're trying to buy airline tickets to your next vacation destination and the checkout keeps timing out? When you switch to HBC's fast and reliable broadband internet service, these frustrations will be a thing of the past. Not only is the service fast and reliable, but it's backed by a 30-day guarantee and free local 24/7 Wizards technical support. Visit hbci.com to learn more or call 888-474-9995. Watch The Tom Sawyer Show on HBC TV 25. Brought to you by Wellington's Pub and Grill. WSU head football coach Tom Sawyer and HBC's Justin Barrientos will take an inside look at the WSU football program as they talk about this year's season. Watch The Tom Sawyer Show Wednesday through Friday at 5 p.m. and right before the Warrior home games on HBC TV 25. The Tom Sawyer Show is brought to you by Wellington's Pub and Grill.
You sound like a man who is afraid that I am dead right.
You talk about the Cowboys and the Patriots like they're like your kids.
Oh.
What am I missing?
This is the place to be.
But you won't listen.
I do not hate LeBron James. In fact, I like him. I don't like it.
I love it.
That's the hottest seat in sports media.
America's fastest growing sports show.
This is undisputed.
And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show on HBC TV 25, brought to you by Wellington's Pub and Grill. Just a couple minutes left in this show, and we'll talk about the opponent, Texas A&M-Commerce. But I want to talk about, first of all, what this does to the coaching staff. You ask the players, well, you're going against a team you don't know. You've only seen them on film a couple of times. What does that do for the coaches, having to prepare for teams that you really don't know a whole lot about?
Well, there's a lot of hours involved in a hurry. You know, we found out last night at 4 o'clock, and by 6 o'clock last night, we had all the film up, and we were cutting it and looking at games, and some guys stayed the entire night breaking their tendencies down. So, but it's fun. It's fun work. You know, we want to be there, and but it's a grind. We're tired in the preparation side of it, but you know, we'll recover by the time Saturday comes around.
So how does it work with rosters then this week? Is it the same as during the regular season, where if you're home, you can have all your guys? Do you have a limited number?
No, this is an NCAA event, so we go strictly by their rules. It's their game and everything. So we get to play 58 players only, which is 3 more than we travel with during the year. And that's all we can have on the sideline. We can't have our sideline full of our other guys. In fact, all of our other students you know, have to pay to get in. It's just the way it is. It's an NCAA event. So they bring 58, we bring 58, and we'll see what happens.
All right. So how much does that tax on the coaches then to decide which 58 are you going to have on the sidelines?
Well, we actually feel better about it because we've had to leave kids home, you know, when we can only travel 55 just a couple weeks ago. So we're looking at, you know, what are the additional 3 guys going to be? And a lot of things play into that. Health, for one. 2 is special teams, and then really the value of each kid. So we'll evaluate that as practice goes and see who's healthy and not, and make the best decision. We got to do that by the Friday night meeting. All
right. Well, you know, I ask you this every week. How healthy are you? What are some of the guys that are injured right now?
Yeah, you know what? We feel as good about it as we've been all year. Really, Cole of Liberty right now is, you know, he hasn't played almost all year. He's the only one that's not available. Okay. So everybody else is back. We expect Darren to be back. With Javian's healthy. Cam Gavin will be healthy. Kane is back. Ryan Kane is back. So, and it's nice having Mikey back. I mean, so right now, going into week 12, we have all but 1 kid available to play. And so we're pretty excited about that.
All right. Well, about last minute here on the show, anything that you want to say to any of the fans or any of your other coaches about how this season has gone? And, you know, we looked at the polls at the beginning of the year, and it really didn't matter much because you go 10-1 this season. Any special thanks that you want to give out to fans out there?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is the game day experience stuff that we've done in the you know, prior to our games, the tailgating that started really with you know, our football alumni. Really got it going, and Scott Opfer's the driver of that bus. But the university bought in. It's been great. HBC's been a big part of that, of course, and a lot of our other partners. But you know, just the making, instead of just a football game, it's becoming an event here in Winona, and we need everybody out here this weekend to take on the tough team from Texas. So you know, 1 o'clock, we'd love to pack the stadium no matter what the temperature is, and it's been happening all year. So I'm very thankful for all of Winona to be a part of our program.
All right. Well, thank you for all the access that you give us and all the information all throughout the season, and good luck on Saturday.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
All right. That's going to wrap it up for the Tom Sawyer Show this week. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time here on HBC TV 25.